and welcome back to In My Humble Opinion. I'm your boy Will. We have Miss Daff here, and we have, I don't know who this is tonight. He looking like a thug, so I don't know if I'm gonna use his government name. We're gonna use his thug name. Which name we're gonna use?
We're gonna do Mondo. Yeah.
Just Mondo?
Argentina.
Yeah. Argentina, because what Daff found out one day on Facebook is that when I got my nickname Mondo, I told her, I said, it means sexy. And she told me I was...
It still means sexy?
She told me I was a bald-faced lie. And I told her that...
I did not.
In the Argentina lexicon, Mondo is translated into, sexual, all that kind of stuff. So it's
going
sexy.
With the American definition.
What's the American
that
definition?
sound like a bunch of crap that was
Not
made
that.
up.
See, y'all hating on the young brother. It's cool.
It's your show today. You thugged out. You got the show hostage. Anyway, the topic for today will be the hate you give.
The hate you give. So we worked it out perfect. Bam.
But we're not really hating on you.
I kind of am, because I don't get to wear my thug clothes. So what we're gonna talk about is the hate you give.
Is that an M on your shirt?
No, it's it's a L for Loy and an N for Norks, the greatest high school on earth.
Is that in Argentina? So anyway,
the hate y'all give.
Anyway, what we're gonna talk about is the hate you give, and what that means is the hate that we give to one another. Sometimes it's subconsciously, and sometimes it's direct. Sometimes it's subliminal.
The sublims.
Yeah. And so the hate that you give to others, just kind of breaking down why do we feel in our opinions that this happens, and it's not just the African American community, the white community, Asian community, it happens everywhere. But we can only speak from where we are from our environment and our upbringing. Yep. So let's break it down this way. Why do you think that people have that type of hate towards someone who done nothing to them?
So let's do history. Let's start off with history. Let's go back to the plantation, right? Is it jealousy, right? Maybe because Mammy got to be in the house, right? And Auntie had to be out with the slaves. So it's like, man, I'm here doing this. You're doing this, but the whole fact of the matter, Mammy could be getting physically, verbally, emotionally abused, even though you're not in the big house, but at least you're being loved, you're being nurtured by your own kind. Yeah, you may be having chitlins and that kind of stuff, and she in the big house eating prime rib.
But she's still secluded.
Yeah. And when I say that to say this is like a lot of times we look at stuff from the outside, not knowing really what's all the dynamics and things and what's going on the inside. Right. But I think, it started off from there.
What you think, Dad?
So you think it carries?
Yeah, it's generational.
Yeah, I do. I also think it's generational. But I think that people hate because of, I feel like, just like you said, it's lack of intelligence. And it's lack of...
So ignorance.
Yeah, basically, it's ignorant. And a lot of people don't want other people to succeed or win or move forward because of lack of their ability to move forward and succeed, or their drive. Like, a lot of people don't have drive, and then they see somebody else do something, and then they're like, oh, well, I should have did it, or I could have did it, or why isn't it me? And then they hate.
See, I think that it's kind of like a mental illness, right? It's like they can't control it, because some people, you'll ask them, why do you not like this person? They can't tell you any reason why they don't like this person. Or if a person has a product or something, you're like, well, have you tried so-and-so's product? Oh, no, why? I don't mess with them like that. Well, why? I don't know, I just don't mess with them like that. Like, there's never a clear answer. And so that goes back to making me think that it has to be some type of mental disorder that immediately you hate someone that you don't know. And I'll take it back to like what Mondo said, and you take it back to the plantation. I'm hating you because I think that you're getting something that I feel like I deserve, right? Not that I don't want you to have it. I just feel like I deserve it and I can't get it. So then I'm going to hate you for having it. But then you have to look at the circumstances in which people get things. So we may be in the same environment, grew up, went to the same high school, and all of a sudden I feel like someone gave you something, right? And it could be your hard work, because I don't see your hard work.
Right.
It could be your dedication to your craft or whatever it may be. But because I only see what you have and not how you got it, I'm envious, because I feel like I should have had that. I should have got that. Why him and not me? So that turns into the jealousy, and I say it's jealous of your own on lack of ambition. So it has nothing to do with the person who has something.
Right.
It has to do with you seeing in them what you thought you should have been doing, and now you're really hating on yourself for not having ambition.
Yeah.
To do
A
it.
lot of people waste their time comparing themselves to others. You know,
Relationship goals.
True. Very true.
Because like I can compare myself, not saying that I do it, but I can compare myself to somebody else who may be achieving something, like, oh, why didn't I do this, or why didn't I do this, or why can't I be like them? But I don't know what steps they took to achieve what they've achieved. Like, they could have went through a lot of hardships just to get to where they are. And then I could probably do it, but I might not go through the same hardships. So it's kind of like, why do you compare yourself to what other people are going through? You know what I mean?
A lot of times, and what I see is that it'll be when you live in a city or a town where popularity runs your city or your town. Sometimes if the popular person don't like what's going on, then their minions don't like what's going on. So for a lack of a better word, minions I'm going to use, the minions then they feed off of what that person who they think got everything or most popular is doing. So if that person doesn't like something, they don't like something. That person doesn't show up to something, they don't show up to something.
Right.
Because they don't want to lose, because what you're doing may be great,
Right.
but the person who they're with already is doing what they think is awesome. So they don't want to lose the interaction with that person.
They don't
and
know how to
affiliate
build.
with you.
They don't know how to build. But that's one of the uglies of social media, right? The uglies of social media, like you say, is comparing. And we probably all do it to some degree.
Right.
Not good, bad, or indifferent, but it should be more like, if I see someone doing something that I had an interest in, because that's what Pinterest is for, right?
Right.
So you can see what other people do, get an ideal from that, and then build your own from that.
Right.
But let's look at your Facebooks and your Instagrams, right? So you'll see somebody doing something, traveling, just buying new home, new cars, and then people get envious instead of saying, "Hey, well, what did you do
To get that.
To get that?" Like, okay, oh, well, you got your debt off, you built your credit, you saved, right?
It's the microwave. Everybody want it right now. It's the microwave.
That instant gratification.
Instant gratification, yeah.
And I think that is a hindrance, because it's to what Dav said, is like a social media, we only see bam right now.
That's all we're going to show you.
Maybe the glamour and the glitz,
Yep.
right? So you don't see the uglies. You don't see that a
Behind
person
the
would had to
scenes.
work 3 jobs, not
Right,
getting no sleep,
right.
saving to go take a trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Saying like, hey, not being able to buy the new J's or something they may have liked or maybe wanted. Maybe, hey, they had a diet of ramen noodles for a month.
Man.
Right, but then if you look at it in a different light, it's some people who get ahead and don't want other people
To get ahead.
after they get ahead. They're like, oh, like these popular people might get ahead, and they use their minions
Yeah.
To keep you down.
to keep other people down. But why wouldn't you want me to get ahead? Because you don't want me to be better than you, or you don't want to see me succeed?
They see competition, and sometimes, and Mondo, you said this on another show about people seeing something in you that you don't see yourself. So if I'm that person who's achieving, and then I see in you that one day you could be greater than me,
Yeah.
then I have to start stopping you now before you become that great. So I have to start playing chess with you.
Right. But why wouldn't you want everybody to grow?
Because people, they in their mind, it's competition, but it can really be collaboration, right?
Right.
If you do T-shirts, right, and I do T-shirts, we can work together.
Let's order in bulk together and
Yep.
get less and pay less for our
Right.
shipments.
Right.
But then you might be selling to more people. So I'm not selling to more people. So even though we're a team, I'm like,
Well, I'll tell you a perfect example is that I said when you work to get inside of a room, and sometime, and I can only speak for me being a young African American male, working to get to a certain spot, and then you make it into that circle, that inner circle, however way you made it. Mine was hard work and dedication, a lot of years. I don't know how other people get in, but that's how I got in.
Hey,
and once you
let me know somebody. Let somebody say, "Hey, bald head, light skin cat with me. Let's go."
no, that happens too.
Yep.
But then once you get in there, then you're
Right,
gonna be
yep.
the bald head light skinned cat.
Then I'm gonna be like, let me get the sister in the pink shirt, brother in
Right.
the black hat. They're with me.
And so that was my point, is that
Right.
once you get inside of that room,
Right.
I think a lot of times because there's so much, you're excluded from that room, and you get in and no one looks like you in that room, and you don't want anyone who look like you to come in and mess it up, and they kick all the people who look like you out of the room. So then instead of going back and nurturing the people who are not in the room and showing them what you learned from being in the room and teaching them how to get to the room and stay in the room, it's greed. I would rather
Right.
be here in my safe haven and not have to worry about it being taken from me than I do taking the chance of bringing you in the room and you're messing it up.
Right.
So that's the same thing that I believe happened in business a lot, in social circles a lot. It's just people are scared to lose their position or their spot.
Let me ask you this though. I've lived in small towns, right? Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. I know you live other places, and you pretty much live in small towns too, is right?
Yeah.
So is that small town thinking, or is that our black cultural thinking?
I think that it's more our cultural.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, like you said, I stayed in a couple big cities throughout my life as an adult. So I got to see things through my adult eyes and not through kid eyes. A lot of times when you're in a big city, if there's not a lot of successful people in one circle that look like you, then people tend to think that that's all that circle is able to possess. Like, the volume of that circle is already filled with enough black people.
So it's to capacity.
It's to capacity. Like, we're only letting 10 people in, and then those 10 people are in, and then it seems to me that those 10 people are then tasked with keeping the rest of the people out in order to keep
It's like
themselves
people
in.
click up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I've been to some cities where, like Jackson, Mississippi, lot of black wealth down there, a lot of old black money in Jackson, and it was totally different. Like, all they were on was like entrepreneurship and inviting you in and trying to show you how to get. So it
But
just
the hospitality
depends.
in the South is different.
It is. So it depends on where you're at. But I think that us as a culture, sometimes it's embedded in us to be competitive than to be cooperative.
So let's say with Southern, you having Southern roots, you being down there for a while. So answer me this: would it be in the southern states with all the things that happened, from years and centuries? Did that bring maybe people closer together to say, hey, I know what happens when we don't work as one. So when I make it, you make it. It's kind of like you ever see, or when a person, young kid, whatever, goes to college, then goes maybe to the pros, and it's like, oh, we all made it. Like, when Floyd became a big boxer, a lot of us was like, we made it, right?
Even though we didn't get anything from it. We didn't expect anything from it, but him carrying the name Grand Rapids to wherever he went. Yeah. For me, that was the proudest moment. You go somewhere and they'd be like, oh, Floyd. I don't know, me and Floyd don't hang out, but we from the same city. That's my guy.
Yeah. So I wonder, with the Southern thing, is it more of that?
It is, but I also think that in Southern communities, a lot of times people work together a little bit more. I think it is a lot more. I think it is hate, but I think a lot more people work together to build. That's what I feel like in the Southern communities that I've been in, because it's like, even like going to, I don't know if this is a good definition, but going to a black college, it's like you have hate, but then you have connection
and so much unity.
Yeah, you have so much unity, so much stuff to build on. You could say, okay, well, I'm gonna be a part of this organization, or I'm gonna be a part of this organization, and you build, you know what I mean? And it stretches. It doesn't just stop in that circle. It builds because you know somebody else, and you know somebody else, and somebody else knows somebody else, and it builds. But then to live in a community here, like living in Grand Rapids, is completely different. I just don't feel like we build and we bond on our structure like we should.
Which college, and just so everybody know, which HBCU did you go to?
I went to Alabama A&M, and I'm currently attending Alabama A&M.
Okay. Look at we got a smart one.
we got right. Smart one. And for me to answer that question, Mondo, I think that we're in an unprecedented time. Like I think we've only been in this era one other time, and that was the 60s. And I wasn't born back then, but I love history. So reading back at the unity, I think this is like the second wave of that. I think that in the last 6-7 years, Black entrepreneurship has been the thing to do. Black entrepreneurship has been the thing to support. In the last couple years, more than ever, Black entrepreneurship income has risen. The ability to open something and get your people to come has been amazing. And just here in this city, we've seen where people are doing multiple businesses but really doing the same thing. Like the products and the services are the same, but people are still patronizing all of these things and promoting and helping. Now we do have people who do hate and don't do, but the majority of it I can see a lot different than it was when I was 15, 16.
There's growth.
So is it the generation? Is it maybe the millennial generation?
Yeah, I think that I think that right now this generation, that our generation, is more of what the younger generation was back in the 60s.
Okay.
The ones who were not scared to fail, was unapologetic Black, and they believed in being self-sufficient. I think that our mothers were programmed to be a certain way. This is what you did. You went to GM and you worked and you retired. You got your watch. You went home. You know, you went to Steelcase. You worked. But now people are out thinking. They thinking outside of the box, and they believe in things that's unconventional. And we have this thing where now kids are being taught that you are being raised to be a boss and not a worker. You know,
entrepreneurship is being taught a lot.
Yeah, it's being taught more.
Yeah.
Right.
So my last thing is that I think that if we do not continue this momentum that has brought us this far, and I'm just speaking of Black wealth.
Yeah.
And when I say Black wealth, I mean on any scale. Whether you made $100 last year and now you're making $400, that's still an increase. It's still adding towards your wealth. I think that we need to continue to let that ball roll.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we dropped off from the 60s is after the civil rights movement, the voting right was passed. I think we thought we won, and we started to...
Because we always settle for the symbolic victories, not an actual policy change and things of that nature.
And I think the hate was there back then, too. There were so many people that told King and Medgar Evers, you know, you will never be able to do it, who hate, but they kept going, and that's what I think...
That's what it is. When you don't have the vision that... If I don't have your vision for whatever it is that you're trying to do, I hate because I can't see it.
Right.
It's like when you go into an empty room, right? You have a vision of what you want to do. Oh man, I can see, okay, I can put this picture here and you know, and that statue there and this, that. But if you don't have the vision to see, all you see is an empty room.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is that people were visionless, right? The visionless came from the hopelessness. Right. And then that's where the hate comes from. I think another thing is the family structure. It was families in the 60s, right? The families in the 70s start to die down. 80s die down. 90s, you know, this era. And then we are kind of trying, for a minute, I think maybe 5-6 years ago, I was seeing more families starting. And then now maybe I'm not paying attention, or it seemed like it kind of like plateaued.
No, I think that the under 42 and probably 33 to about 42.
Okay, right.
I think that's a strong family structure for us right now.
And that's great. That's neat.
Yeah. Just by seeing, like when I came back home to Grand Rapids, I'm like, man, like I was just so proud of the people who I went to school with and the people who had just graduated before I came to high school, like seeing how they were moving around the city and seeing how they were family oriented. Like you see so much more of the family orientation now than I believe I did in like the 80s and growing up, you know, late 90s. But I think that people hate on that too. Like just a switch, like people hate on that. People will hate on someone for trying to be a good dad or trying to be a good mom or trying to be a good family member. And they'll say, oh, you post your kids all the time. Well, there's probably somebody out there that don't know how to be a good dad or a good mom, or know what it's like to take your kid on an activity. Never had anything like that for them, and you could be speaking life into that
somebody else,
situation, and people will hate on that. People hate on the unemployment.
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest thing now, just hating on people who get unemployment.
Yeah, absolutely. Like people hate people getting unemployment right now. Like even if you go somewhere, like because I'm a server right now, it'll be like people will be like, "So, are you getting unemployment?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, does it really matter?"
Yeah, it's going. If I do, it's going in my pocket. So.
Yeah. I still have bills to pay, even if I am or if I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it concern you? But people want to hate on you just because you're getting that, or they feel like you're not working as hard, even though they don't know what you're doing in the background. They don't know what bills you have to pay or what you have to do, or if you have kids or whatnot, But then I feel like, too, I don't know if you all feel like this, there's people who you want to see succeed and you want them to be great, but they look at you like, why you like me? You know what I mean?
Because they're not used to it.
Or why are you supporting me? Or I don't know why she's supporting me. Or I don't know why this person is doing this. And like, I don't understand that either.
It's because you have the vision. You see, my thing now is, since this conversation started, now all I can think is vision. Because you can see something in me. I always, I'll talk about this a lot. People seeing things in me that I don't see myself. So so even with us being here, remember what I said, it was something I saw in you.
Right.
So it's the same thing. I think you've seen it too, but when someone else comes to you and say it,
confirmation.
Yep,
Right.
you like, oh. You're like, no, I'm pretty sure your inbox was flooded. I'm like, I don't check my inbox. I came directly to you.
Right.
Yeah, but what happens is like, for me in that situation, it was just like, it was a flood of comments. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's already, when in this city, when you do something and you step out to do something, if people don't know you, or they know you but they don't really know you, you know what I'm saying? And then you do something and it's kind of like outstanding, then you're like, oh, well, why that person? Why'd you do that? I don't know why you would pick that person, because this person is this. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's like technically like an insecurity, which I don't feel like it is, but at the same time, it's like, why would you, why me?
Yeah.
Because, but then you got to ask yourself, why not me? Because I used to ask myself, why me? Why me? I'm like, why not me? Like, why not me, who I believe who put in all of this work? And people are going to hate. People are going to hate because people are going to hate.
Yeah.
And if today I posted that you don't stop walking because you stub your toe.
Right.
So you shouldn't stop chasing your dreams because you come against an obstacle or a flood of people hating, because I can tell you this, a lot of people will support you until they see action, and then they start doubting and hating, which is weird. Yeah. People will support you during you telling them your vision, and you saying, this is what I'm working on, this one. They're like, oh, the moment that they see that it's coming to fruition, then they begin to have doubts.
Right.
Their real self come out, and they have the doubts, and they start to hate.
Yeah.
I remember Cameron said, rapper Cameron, because I guess he's lived in like Ohio, Detroit, everywhere. And he was like, I got all these businesses. And they were like, why don't you promote your businesses? He would say, because the moment
I say it's me,
I say this is my business,
right,
then people, he said, certain people won't mess with it no more because it's me.
Right. That's what I mean by, like, I don't not believe in myself. You know what I mean? Because, I got a lot.
We know you're confident. You're strong and you're confident.
I have a lot of confidence in myself.
Smart.
Don't treat me like that. But a lot of people, I feel like they just don't know me. You know what I'm saying? They only know what they assume they know about me. If that makes sense.
That was like when we had that one issue, and the person, well, I know it was that Raymond. First of all, my name's not even Raymond. So for starters, let's just get that clear.
It's Ramon.
I don't even like him as a person. You don't even know me.
Right. But
immediately,
that's a whole different.
But immediately, people will hate when they feel like you have some type of power, or if they feel like you're better than them. Because a lot of times you don't see people walking around saying, "Hey, Mondo, just want to let you know I'm better than you, buddy. Yeah. Have a good day." No,
that would be hilarious.
But nobody walks around and says that. Usually, when you hear better than, it's a person saying it to another person who they feel is better than them. So if I automatically think you're better than me, now I got to find a reason to hate on you to make you not better than me, right? And so I find that a lot of times it's a conversation that needs to happen. Like, why don't you really like me? When you put a person on the spot, why don't you really like me? Like, we have some great, if you want to eat in Grand Rapids, let me say this. If you want to eat in Grand Rapids, get your lashes done, get you some weave, get a couple outfits. You can do all that in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Like, you can never say those things that you cannot find here in this city, right? And what I've learned is that some people have some amazing products here. Some people have some not so amazing products here. Some people have great customer service, some don't.
I think that's the biggest
service.
issue.
Yeah.
It's the customer
Oh,
service.
Lord.
I think people have great products and services. Their administration skills
Is awful.
suck.
Like your
so-
hustle is great, but your business is bad.
But then
business
people
ethic.
The ethics, right?
but
Yeah.
you got to think, and I'm not cutting anybody no slack. This is just real the way that I think. A lot of these business have come out of a thought and then
Right.
funding, right?
And that's why I appreciate the Spring GR and
Yeah.
and Star Garden. Go ahead.
Because a lot of this is just that somebody dropped some money in somebody's hand, they had an idea, and they ran with it with no type of training or whatever. They
Correct.
just had an idea and a thought. My thing is that, especially with us as African Americans, we would hate on another African American who has a business, who may not be up to par with other businesses or whatnot, instead of talking to that person and saying, hey, had a bad customer service with
Yep.
you, this is what we want to
Ooh,
go blast you
that-
to everybody.
yep, get on Facebook.
Right.
And immediately say, don't ever go to so-and-so because you had one bad experience. But I guarantee, I would bet my last dollar that McDonald's has messed up your food more than once.
More than
And you
once.
continue to go back to McDonald's.
But here's the thing, Braylock. Usually when a business first starts, they're gonna have hiccups.
Yep.
So as you stated before, these businesses are growing. They're new. They don't know.
Right.
If you don't go tell the manager, whoever, they don't know. Remember me, you, and Matt. I think it was before Daph came in today. I was saying how we go to this particular place, and I said, "Oh, the customer service is horrible." Like, I like the place. I always complain about the customer service. I think last time we was there, we waited an hour for the check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I love the place, so I don't talk bad about them. But if that happened to a brand new black business,
They'll
not
kill it.
me, because I'm a celebrator, the people, man, don't, I ain't going back there. And I'm just like, why? But I've seen you at other restaurants that I'm not finna pub on this show, but you go there
And they treat you
and
horrible.
right.
I've seen them treat you horrible. So I think that, again, that goes back to the hate. Like, it's like a mental illness. Like,
Well,
they have to hate.
The white
and
man's ice is colder.
I've heard that. But I'm so busy buying my ice over here that I don't know how to, no. But I think that it's conditioned. It's
Yeah,
that
it is conditioned.
it's that it's okay for certain people's business to treat me this way. But this black business, how dare you treat me that way? And second, not only how dare you treat me that way, now none of my family is going to come to your restaurant. Remember when the Shell station was owned by black people right
Yep.
here in the Boston Square? There was a lot of people who didn't like the family, not the person who owned it, not the core family. They didn't like the family in general. So you would hear them say, I'm not going to go to this gas station because I don't like their cousin, or I don't like this. And I'm like, I'm going just because it's a
You wanna
black business
support,
and we don't
yeah.
have a lot of those around here. We have to start getting back to the way, I'm going to bring it up again, the 60s were, where they, at the risk of everything, supported one another. They, at the risk of losing everything, stood together and had a mission, and they walked towards that mission hand in hand, even with people who were in their crowd that was hating on them. They didn't pay attention to those people who were hating on them. They continued with the ones who were standing fast with them and the allies that was next to them and making it to that journey.
True.
What do you guys think about, what do you think should happen to change the dynamics of us being divided in our unity? And what I mean by that is because I keep talking about this climate that we're in that I love. Like, it just feels good. Like, it feels good to be black in America, entrepreneurship. Like, I know the rest of the world is messed up and there's a lot of things going on, but for right now, the entrepreneurship is amazing to me, and I feel good when I talk about it. But what happens is it's a lot of hate. It's a lot of hate because it feels like you have to be competing with one another when you don't.
That's what you say, Daph.
I I don't think that people have to really compete with each other, but I think that we as a unit need to move as a unit and support each other as a unit. And I think we need to let go of like personal issues and past issues and what we feel like, you know, is affecting the
whole
dynamic. You know what I mean? Like if I go to your store, even though I don't like you, I could get there and I can be like, oh my gosh, this is great. You know what I mean? And I can come back again and I can go tell somebody else and I can support. And then somebody else comes and they support, instead of like leaving the business saying, okay, well, I don't like that person and I don't want to go back again just because I don't like them. But then at the same time, I think that we need to work together to help each other build. And I think that we're not doing that right now. Although the economic growth and the entrepreneurship in the Black community is building, I just don't feel like we're all working together.
One question I asked people before, like, where is the Black community in Grand Rapids, right?
Right.
I think it's going to have to start with ownership. Like, we have to own something, right? Because if you don't own anything, it's easily like in East Town. It was a certain shoe store, right?
Yep.
Great, nice shoe store. We have like, you know, the exclusive kind of, but I guess the owners of the building would go up on the rent. So you keep going up on the rent.
Because you no longer think that I fit.
Right.
The
So
scheme
then
that you
I get
want.
pushed out.
Right.
But if we had owned the building, we wouldn't have to worry about it. Because, you know, some things are systematic. So I think one is ownership. Like you said, support, community, staying on code. And it's just really financial support. You know, I notice a lot of times with us small businesses, I've noticed that people, maybe I don't need your product, but they'll like, I'll buy it maybe for someone else to support you. Because all it takes is a little bit. And I think we have to invest in each other, invest in self. Or, you know, if you're doing a business, like, you know, if you're just a worker bee and stuff, that's fine. So invest what you can. You know, if you have to go shop at, you know, one of the bigger, larger grocery stores, that's fine. But if you can buy products, you know, it may
your community.
Yep, and it may cost a little more, and that's fine because, first of all, it's going to be handcrafted. It's not going to have all these random chemicals. It may be better for you. And granted, you may not be able to go get a loaf of bread there.
Right.
You may not be able to go get all your stuff for your seafood, crab boils, because that's what y'all want. First of all, I've been doing that since like '86. Y'all just, you know, but that's neither here nor there. But
like
you
an
know,
old player. I've been doing that since '86.
But you know what I'm saying? So if you know so and so, oh well, I can go to them to get the crab. I can go to them to get the shrimp.
Right.
Okay, well I got to go to the big store to get the potatoes or whatever.
Right.
And it's just those little things, because like you said in the '60s. That's what they did. You go here for this, here for this, here for this. And it's all about support. May have to go an extra mile. That's fine. Because one day it's going to be your turn.
Yep.
One day you're going to need that support.
And you're going to wish they traveled that one extra mile to come to you.
That's true, but I think to a certain extent, sometimes there comes a point in these same circumstances where people who you want to go and support are trying to take advantage of the support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind coming to you and buying a loaf of bread, but don't charge me $5. When you know that you wholesale bought that bread for $1.
But hold on. Now I'll say this because I used to think that way too. And then somebody.
Well, what's your opinion? What's your humble opinion?
Somebody who was very more financial savvy than I was of breaking down economics. And it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. What happens is that if you buy 12 cases of pop and they charge you for each one of those cases, let's say $2, right? And you sell them for $4, $5, whatever your markup is, right? Then you have 3 stores in your same community. You got one black store. Then you have 3 stores by another nationality who owns these 3 stores. Or they may not, but they all know each other.
Yeah.
So when it's time to order pop, no matter how much pop you sold last week, we order every week this much pop. So at this point, we go to the distributor and we say, we're coming to buy 3 skids of pop, right? Per case, how much are you going to charge us? Well, you're getting 3 skids instead of 12 cases.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to charge you $175 for those each individual cases because you're buying 3 skids. So that happens with all of the products. The more you buy, the more you save. And what and to say what you said, why it's so much is because me, Mondo, and you all own the store. Because we think that we're in competition with one another. Because we think that if Mondo wins, then that means that we lose. Instead of us going and saying, Mondo, hey, let's go, you buy bread, I buy bread, you buy. How much bread do you buy? Okay, you buy 12 loaves a week, you buy 5, I only do 4. Right? So let's break it down and tell them this is how much we're going to buy as a unit together. Now, that may mean I only have to put in $7 and you have to put in 8 and Mondo put in 14, right? But Mondo still is getting his bread at a lower price.
Yep.
So everybody is actually winning, even though that we all made profit a little bit different when we sell that bread. The next thing is that you don't see McDonald's saying, I'm not going to put my restaurant here because Burger King is there. They know Burger King is their competition. They sell almost the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's the product itself that's going to sell. It's the relationships that's going to sell your product. And it's that customer service. It's that being open on
It
time.
is,
I think
but-
what Daph is saying is she's saying, if your
That's
price is
cool.
$3, let your price be $3.
Yeah,
But
don't-
when I come through the door, don't look like
Don't raise your price.
I'm about to pull one on you, like how they'll tell women whenever you go to a mechanic or auto body
Take a man.
shop, take a man with you, right? The woman might know more about cars than the guy.
somebody else.
Right.
But
But
my
just the
thing-
visual is that the man is going to know more.
My thing is, I understand that businesses are located near each other. You could have a Myers and a Family Fair across the street from each other. You know, 68th Street. You know,
Right.
it's a Myers, it's
Yeah.
a Family Fair. But at the same time, I know that I'm gonna go to the Myers and my prices are gonna be cheaper than what they would be if I went to the
I'm a DMW
family
guy myself.
the Family Fair. Yeah.
I go to Food Town.
Okay, no. But my thing is, like, don't overcharge because you know that you can get a profit because people are coming to support you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Don't gouge. Don't price gouge.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I peeped. That's what you meant is
Yeah.
like, don't take advantage.
Yeah, don't take advantage.
Because you know you want me to support you and you know you want people to support you, and then that's going to cause more hatred towards you because you're going to get Becky over here who's going to be like, nope, I'm not going there because they charge me $8
Yep.
and I can go somewhere else and get it for $6. I'm not saying lower your price completely, but you know what I'm saying? Be fair, be equal. Don't.
And that's why I say, like, I get that, like, say with the pickles, right? I seen how the whole production thing, all from one person. So maybe, for
It's
the pots, right? Because it's just him, for his pickle chips, maybe he got to charge X amount than whether Vlasics or whatever,
Right.
whatever
Buy 'em by the
the
boat.
ones
Right.
I don't eat, whatever those ones may be a little expensive,
Yeah.
but you got a whole production where you got a machine
You got to do,
doing all the
you're
work.
doing everything
So
yourself. too.
that's why I say sometimes when you shop, not even black, but when you shop local, it may be a little bit more expensive,
Right.
right? And I think like it's okay, but once you be able to help those businesses grow,
yeah.
then then the
you-
price
yeah.
the price will come down. But don't do it where it's like we'll come to us and be like, hey man, I just got these shirts made
Yeah.
or something, or somebody came and pressed. I went to this cleaners, they pressed my pants.
Yeah.
And then we hit, hey, just inbox me.
Yeah.
And then they give you one price, they give me a different price, and he had already told us what the price was.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, never mind. We're
Yeah.
just gonna go
but
down.
I think you run into a lot of that, and then that's where a lot of hate comes from too,
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, oh well, they charge me this, and then they charge you that, and then you're like, well, why do I want to come and support you?
Mm-hmm.
But do you guys think that sometimes people, and I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I'm just going to say it anyway because I don't care. Do you think that some people welcome the hate? And I don't mean welcome, but like they put themselves out there to be hated. And not purposely, but the way that they carry themselves, the way that they carry their business, the way that they interact with people.
Like interact negatively.
Yeah, like where...
Maybe they
you
just
get that one step and then everybody below you on that step is nothing.
I think is to what Daph was saying earlier. It's just you don't possess customer service skills. Like you don't know that this is not how you treat people.
Right.
You know.
So do you think a lot of the hate comes from sometime the way people are treated versus your product versus
your family,
service?
your upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, this is just how you are as a person. Like, you're just a horrible person.
Yeah. Some people grow and then they get those accolades or whatever, and then they become a certain person, and then they just don't care anymore. I think that's kind of what you're saying, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and some people don't look back and they're like, you know what? Forget all the little people behind
Right.
me.
'Cause I'm here
I don't-
now.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Okay.
And so now
I see
it's
what you're
easier for me to hate you because I'm like, I supported you when you started. And now
You don't know me.
you don't know me, and I don't mean you owe me anything, but as a sense of now I'm nothing to you. You can walk past me, say nothing. We can be in the same room, you say nothing. But I was one of the people who originally started helping
that,
you. Or,
that dollar right there that you say your first dollar,
Dollar?
Yeah.
That
came
was
out of
mine.
my pocket.
It was my dollar.
right.
But I think you also get a lot of people who hate because they feel like you owe them something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
you could start a business and you could have something going, or you could be doing whatever, and somebody's like, "Oh, so you're not gonna give me no discount?
Right.
Oh, so you're not gonna let me in free? Oh,
But you know what? The crazy part
I
is,
can't
and
get
then
it
they'll
for
hate you.
$5.
They'll hate you for that, but
And then
they'll
they go-
walk right into another store
And
and
pay
pay whatever
$10.
the price is, and then say
arm and a leg.
and then say thank you.
and then be like, I don't like them because they didn't let me in free, or they didn't give me 50% off. They know they should have gave me 50% off. You know?
So my thing is, whenever I go support the business, if you want to hook me up, cool. But
Right.
I'm not going for the hookup. I'm
Right.
going because, oh, I see you doing something. Boom. Let me support.
Right.
And I think that someone told me I'm one of the most supportive people that they ever seen. Like, I support anything. If it's positive, I'm going to support it. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, I'm going to support it. And supporting sometimes doesn't even mean that I'm always going to spend my money there. I'm either going to promote your stuff, I'm going to show up, I'm going to tell other people to go there. And when people come to me and say, hey, let's go do this, I'm going to say, oh, let's go do it at this spot. Or let's go over to this, let's order t-shirts from this person. Let's get a cake from that
Because
person.
I'm thinking like this bracelet, black and blue. I don't know if we have to edit it. Like, one of my friends in Kalamazoo, Darina, you know, she started. I'm like, so I asked her. I was like, well, I don't wear women's jewelry. She's like, oh, I got men's stuff. She came to Grand Rapids one day. Where you at? Pulled down on me. Let me get this, and this.
Right.
You know, support. Because I'm like, I wasn't like dating and seeing anybody. If I was, and I just would have like, hey, baby, what you want, and got that. But it's the simplest stuff. But before then, when I see her pub something on Facebook, I just share it.
Right.
It's easy as that, just sharing. Also, if you want to support 3 young people, could you go, when you go on Facebook, hit the like page for In My Humble Opinion like page. Give us a thumbs up. Okay.
And then going over to the YouTube channel.
Then you go YouTube too.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Make sure it's this, In My Humble Opinion. And hit the subscribe button. Enjoy the episodes. I think it's a lot of great content, excellent production. Y'all will like it.
Yeah. But so, what do you think we need to do to kind of, like I said before, change the narrative of this whole hating on people just to be hating on them, or hating on people because someone else? I think that's, someone posted about what's a weak-minded individual, and I said someone who can't make their own decisions.
That was my post.
It was?
Yes.
I don't like that post. So someone else had posted it. No, but I think that's about it, like making your own decisions, coming to your own conscious decision of what you like and what you don't like, who you're going to be around and who you're not going to be around. I think sometimes people have that fear of losing what they have trying to support something else, when I think I told someone this, it's enough internet for all
everybody.
of us.
Yeah.
For everyone. They haven't ran out yet. And which means that everybody has the opportunity to be great. Everybody has the opportunity to sell, trade, and barter. But I think that a lot of times people hate themselves.
That's what
Yeah.
They hate
that's what I was
themselves,
leaning to.
and that's why they hate you.
Yeah, I think people need to let go of their insecurities. You know what I mean? It's like some past trauma or some past things
Social distancing.
it's some past stuff that is affecting them, and they don't know how to let it go. It could be from when they were in high school and somebody came in and they had better shoes than them, or it could be when they were in college and some other person had a better backpack than them or could buy books and they couldn't buy books. You know, like the stuff that happens to us in the past, it it does affect us, and sometimes some things affect us more traumatically than other things. But we have to be able to move forward and let go of like vulnerability, insecurities, and things, because we're not going to be able to grow and move forward if we can't let go of things in the past, because it's in the past. You know what I mean?
My past is my past,
It
and my
is.
future
I'm
is
not-
brighter.
Right. I'm not saying don't remember the things and don't, lose what is valuable to you, but you need to let go of those insecurities, because they're not going to help you build. They're only going to help you stay stagnant, and you're not going to grow from it, and you're going to keep hating on people, and you're going to be 60 talking about, I can't stand that she got those shoes from Ralph Lauren. You know what I mean?
The bunion shoes at 60.
Yeah, the ones with the
Foot
good
hurting.
cushions, the shows. I got some for work though.
I think that I think that for me, when you think about hating, it's easier for me to come and support, because once you become great, that means that I'm attached to something great, and that's what makes
Something
me feel
bigger
good.
than you.
Something bigger than me, like that. The world may not know that I came and bought 20 barbecue dinners, right? And that could have been the difference for that person that I bought 20 barbecue dinners from, of them making that quota for the day
Yeah.
or not making the quota for
Right.
the day. And when I see them continuously being successful, and then say they blow up and get a building, then I can say, you know what? I'm attached to this place. Don't have any ownership or looking for anything from it, but I'm attached to this place because I was one of the founding customers
Right.
of this. So I feel good about the success that this place has had, and I played a part in it.
When you see
A place grow.
a place grow, when you hear about the vision and you see a person go through the birthing cycle, and then when they birth this thing and then you watch this thing grow, it's like, like a proud uncle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that I think that we can take ownership in community in other businesses like that.
Right.
Maybe we don't own any stake in it, but it's still that sense of, man, because I've supported this place. Where you don't spend or invest any money, you don't have any say. I wish I'd have put that note out my phone, tell you exactly how it's written. But the thing is, we don't invest our money. We don't invest any sweat equity. We don't invest any time. That's why we hate, because we're not a part of it.
Right.
But you can be a part of it by investing. If you see somebody, doing something, social media is easy. Hit the share button. You supported them.
Right.
You don't know how far that can go because you have a reach that they don't have.
Right.
Simple as that.
But they might feel like you owe them something, so they're not gonna hit the like button.
Right.
Well-
Because I'm not getting nothing.
I'm not getting that in return.
I ain't getting nothing in return.
But still,
and that's
for-
just ugly.
for
And y'all
me,
need to
it
quit.
just
Hold on.
feel-
Y'all need to quit being ugly. First of all, y'all need to
Tell him
support.
Uncle
Y'all need to
Mondo.
support each other. We need to support one another. If y'all see me not supporting somebody, and y'all check me. I don't know what camera I'm on, but y'all can check me too. Put me in my place.
Right.
But we do have to do a better job of supporting each other. Y'all ugly selves. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Little
I
rant.
think you said it right. We got to do better and be intentional
Intentional. Yeah.
at supporting one another when nothing comes out of it from us, right? I think, as you said, you brought up Floyd, like how everybody was proud because he made it, and then it came to now he owed everybody something, and it's like he don't owe you anything
You wasn't in the gym.
at all. You didn't take those hits at all,
Right.
So I think that people will support you until they feel like you made it far enough to pay them something, to give them something.
Right.
If he paid everybody, then he wouldn't have nothing.
He wouldn't have anything.
I like when I see him flashing and having nice houses and cars. I like that.
See, my thing is that
I like to see people come up.
the thing that he said that I don't agree with a lot of things that he say and how he and a lot of things that he do, but I don't hate him for that because I know it's a persona. So the Floyd that we see on TV and when he's out in publicity areas
it's
where there's
business.
cameras, that's his brand. He has to, that's his brand. So let him work his brand. But I think what happens is that we can't separate that. We don't separate that with celebrities. They all have to be that same way, especially if they come from where you from. And the ones who have the stories about, I used to know Floyd back in the day, and this right here. Now he act like he don't know me. Well, y'all went to school together. You said hi, he said hi. Y'all kept it moving.
Right.
Like y'all not buddies, y'all not friends.
Right, yeah.
But I think when people start hating in that manner, again, it's because they don't feel important enough to themselves. And because they deem you important, they don't like you.
Right.
The other part is that people will hate because they feel like they have a minimum piece of the whole puzzle. So if you're the money man and I'm just the thinker or the worker bee or the planner or whatever it may be, now I'm hating on you because you're making moves and I'm not. Instead of saying, hey, Mondo, I see you doing this. I'm a thinker. I know how to develop and implement things. Can we work on something together? Now it's up to you to say yes or no. But I put it out there to say, can we work together? Because I have a skill set. And Mondo, look at him. You got the money. So I need.
But then it comes to a point where like
him and these dollars. Oh, that's a 20.
It comes to the point where, okay, let's say you get the 3 people to work together, like we get together, we work together.
Yeah.
And then now you have a plethora of people who are like, I don't like this because these two are this, or this person is this, and this shouldn't happen, or why aren't I doing this?
Because
That's
simple.
wait, it's the last part you said. Why I ain't do it? Because you didn't have the vision that we had.
It's not even that. I'm going to tell you what it is. People can see amazing. They may not have a vision for themselves. A lot of people can't even have a vision for themselves. That's why a lot of people can tell you how to be great, and they're not even great. A lot of people can coach basketball and never really was a star, right? Never really played.
Yeah, because none of the coaches is stars. Yeah. If you look at a lot of coaches, they never played basketball a day in their life.
Right? So you think about it, people will sit back and say, I see in them, and not just us, in general, I see that this new restaurant that just opened up, it's going to be amazing, and I hate it, right? For no other reason than I know it's going to take off, and I wish I could be a part of it. Instead of finding a way to be a part of it or finding a way to support it, they would rather to make themselves feel good about not being successful only because they won't put in the hard work to be successful. They're going to hate on your success. And again, like I said to Mondo, they're going to try to stop you before you recognize your greatness or before your greatness take over your talent and your skills and you blossom.
Right.
So they're going to, so that's the hate they're going to give you immediately.
Or they know you're there.
Yep.
Because I know with me, sometimes it's hard for me to envision hate, because I'm like, people don't be hating like that. But when make that face. No, because since I'm not a hater, I don't look at stuff like that.
Right.
I remember when my cousin was first doing the blueprints for 40 acres, right? So we at home one day and he just showing me, okay, this is how it's gonna look in the inside, this the layout. So when it came, I'm like, this look exactly like how it looked on the computer screen, right?
Right.
He had a vision, he seen it, him and his partners or whoever. So for me to be able to see that, I ain't have nothing to do with it. People, because I always shared it.
Right.
I was there. He would bring me in for different tastings and stuff. Now I see it. So people thought that I had some stake in it, some ownership. I'm like, nah.
I'm just eating for free.
Well, that too. But most time I go out, I pay. If they decide to hook me up, it's fine, because I was finna pay for my meal anyway, wherever I was gonna go. But so for me, I was excited. I was happy. I'm not getting nothing out of this.
Right.
Right? Other than to be able to celebrate somebody. I mean, granted, it's my family, but just, somebody who looks like me and other people who look like me because of something that they had. So I think, and I'm going to keep saying vision, so when you can have a vision to see something, like, I love it. Like when John Covington calls me and he tells me, I see this. You better get ready because this is coming. I see it coming. The same way. And that's where we have to get to as a people, to be like, girl,
Look at this.
look at this.
Look what you could do.
Right.
Look how you
do
can
you
do
in
it.
school, girl? You know what? I know a scholarship.
Please
can
tell
You
me.
know what I'm saying? That's what we don't.
You know where the money at?
And that's
mind those
What you
pockets.
just said.
He just
That's
showed it
what
to
we
us.
got to do. We got to be like, girl, I heard you was in school.
Because his bank account is looking sketch.
Yeah, but that's how we got to do. You
Right.
know what? You know they got a scholarship for young black women. Ooh, they got people that's going to HBCUs from the. You know they got a scholarship for that.
But they'll
28.
hold on to that because they don't. Not because they hate you. Sometimes it's because they don't know you. And so,
Not even that. No. Because a person you don't know,
No.
they'll look out.
Right.
But
Right.
now people knowing and seeing Daff.
okay,
so
hold that
you
right
gonna
there,
get some hate.
Mondo.
Yep.
You just made a great point.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's easier for people who know nothing about you
To support
you
Yep.
than it is for people who know you or know of you
Yep.
to support you. People who know of you or know you more apt to have some type of ill will towards you or whoever you know, and they're going to be biased, right?
Right.
But you can take the same thing you're doing in the city that you're born and go to another city and be way more successful and then come back to your city. And now because you've been deemed successful somewhere else, you come back to your city and then your city welcomes you as a newcomer
Yeah.
coming back from where you were than they did when you were actually a part of that community, which is crazy. It's crazy that sometimes you have to leave, and when your city see other people accepting you, then they will stop hating on you and welcome you back.
Well, let me ask you this then, Daff. From you originally being from Alabama, right? Then family migrating to Michigan, which I don't talk to your mom. I'm gonna talk to your mom about that one day. I'm gonna have to sit down and be like, why?
All the other
Grand
states was
Rapids?
full at the time.
That must have been what happened. Man, we're at capacity. We're gonna have to go to the mitten. So did you feel or get a sense of support when you went back down there for school, when you went to Alabama?
Absolutely. It was completely different. Like even leaving here and going to Alabama and being in Huntsville, it was completely different. It was a completely different feeling. It was a completely different welcoming than what it was that I already had here. And then when I came back home, it was like, people know me, but they don't really know me. And that's been years, and it's still to the same, exact thing where people know me, but they don't really.
So they know you
me.
like, oh, that's Daphne, but they don't know you.
They don't know anything about me. They only know assumptions about me.
Or what-
you know
or
what I
what
mean?
they heard.
Or what they heard, or what they think
What
they
they
know.
done heard
Or
about you.
I don't know
A
what they
lot.
heard, but they think
Have you
they
been on
know.
Facebook lately?
And then I just let people assume whatever
There
they
it is.
want to
Yeah.
assume because they don't
So-
know me. You know what I mean? Because, take for instance, I post a lot of positive posts.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
You do.
And that's just me. You know what I mean? But then I see people look at it to the fact where they're like, oh, is she really that positive? You know what I mean? But I really am that positive, and I
But
want
even
people
if
to
you're
be
not,
great.
but even if you're not that positive, right?
Despite the fact I don't like everybody.
Right.
I still want people to be great.
Like
You got
know,
trust
when
issues.
when I made the
I do.
post saying drink more water, read books, exercise, this and that and the
Right.
third, right? Somebody, well, you don't do all that. Okay, this is why I'm putting it here, saying this is what, in my honest, humble opinion,
Right.
this is what we should
Be
But-
doing.
be doing.
Right.
Right.
But these are my things. Like this is what I
Well,
do.
you are.
Like when I get up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
you always
just
have an affirmation.
Yeah, it's positive for me, like because every day is a different day.
Right.
Yesterday, what happened yesterday is what happened yesterday. What happens today is what happens today. I don't try to keep what happened yesterday until my next day because that's gonna hold me back from my blessings.
So let's
oh, go ahead.
let's think about this. If we have to leave a thought for the hate you give or the hate you receive, a takeaway, I think that for me, I'll go first. My takeaway is that if you focus more on celebrating people's victories than hating on them, then we all will be in a better place.
Right. My takeaway and what I always say is I say people need to always look for the good in life.
I'll say this. I got it from one of Nasir songs, Nasir Jones. What he said.
Y'all on first name basis?
Yeah, it's my brother. A caterpillar can't, envision
Being a
what-
butterfly.
what an eagle sees, right? Because your vantage point. So, in my humble opinion, where we lack vision, that's where the hate comes from. So, with that being said, I want to say thanks to Daff, thanks to my man Braylock, shout out to Matt. our production engineer, and that's been the episode of In My Humble Opinion.
So keep your opinions humble. We out.
Be great.
Are we done, Matt?
Come on. Don't wear that outfit again. It's the outfit.
You hot?
Yeah, he hot. He got on a sweater and the lights are at 120 degrees. And he's bald head. He's probably sweaty as heck under there.
No, I'm good.
You good?